And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a game called Assassin's Creed Arena, the board game. Now obviously this is based on the very popular Assassin's Creed series of video games. I will come right out here and say I've not played the Assassin's Creed video games, although I know that they're quite popular and I know basically the general premise of them as you're an assassin going out and doing different missions. This is a game in which has a very similar feel. You're one of possibly 4 different assassins, and you're going in and you're trying to kill different targets and possibly each other. Let's see how the game plays. At the beginning of the game, each player who's playing is going to have their character, and they're going to start in one of the corners of the board. You also have these other characters. These are guards. You have these white guards who are, they start in the corners of this track along the outside of the board. You can see spaces. They stand between the different rooftops, the different houses. Then we have blue guards, and then you have one red guard. He's like an elite guard in the middle. You're going to place some blue targets on these 8 blue space in the middle, and then a red target on the mosque in the middle. There's actually extra targets of each of the types, so you're never sure which targets are in the game and where they are. Players are going to be dealt a handful of cards. Now, most of the cards that you're going to get in your hand are going to show 1, 2, or 3 daggers on them, although there's other sorts of cards that you might draw as time goes by. On a player's turn, the first thing that they do on their turn is they're going to turn over an event card. Now, what an event card will do is it will almost always cause one of the guards to move. This one, for example, says choose a white guard, roll a die. So I pick this one and they move clockwise that many spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then, many of the cards also, for example, this one here, says if a guard is nearby building, and then it shows an Arabic letter 2. Put an outer city target on it. So I find that one here, that Arabic letter, and 2, and there is a guard near that building. So I'm going to take one of these white targets and put it there on that spot. So there's a possibility that more targets will show up over the course of the game. These are these outer city targets, and they're not as good as the lucrative targets in the middle, but they will spawn at different spots on the board. Other event cards might let you move, other event cards will do different things, but they often move the guards around. Then a player has the opportunity to move once. They don't have to, but they can. If you move, you play 1 card. The number of daggers on it shows how far you move. In this case, I move 3. So let's say this was my character here. I can move 1, 2, 3. I can move in different spots. However, when I'm moving, I have to watch where the guards are. So here, for example, this guard is watching these 4 passageways, here, 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 and here. So if I was, for example, let's say I moved here, and my second jump was here, this guard watches all the way up to that dot, so he would have seen me. It would be better for me to have jumped here, because he can't see me that way, and then go here. It takes an extra move to do it that way, but I stay out of the guard's sight. Every guard that sees you when you're moving, you have to discard a card from your hand, and cards are your life. You can directly jump over their heads diagonally like that, and they can't see you, because they can't look straight up, apparently. But, and if multiple guards see you on a turn, let's say there was a guard here, and for some crazy reason I jumped from here to here, both guards would see me and I would have to lose 2 cards. You don't have to move. If you don't move, you can instead hide. If you hide, that's pretty much all you do. You can draw cards depending on where you are. If you are in the outer buildings, the white buildings, you get 4 cards. In the blue buildings, 2 cards. And in the red building, 1 card. This is really the only way to get more cards in your hand. You can also attack. If you land on a spot where there's a target, you will turn the target over. Most targets look like this here, where they have 2 numbers on them. This is how much attack I need to do that target, and that's how many points that target is worth. So here I would have to attack it for 4, so maybe I would discard multiple daggers. I can only use 1 dagger to move, but when I attack a target, I can use multiple daggers. However, I cannot attack a target if there is a guard in one of the 4 corners, because the guard is protecting that target. I can attack the guard, and the guards have a number on them. You can see this one is 2, so I could kill that guard and take it off the board. Many of the event cards will bring guards back, and every time guards don't really give you any points for killing them, but you might do it just to get a target that is there. So if I manage to kill the target, I will take that target and place it on my board. And there's different targets. Obviously, the target in the red place is the best target. Sometimes you'll find money. Now, when you find money, what you're going to do at that point is you're going to place it here in your treasured carried. You can only have one treasure carried. And what you want to do in this case is you want to get that treasure back to your starting spot. If you do so, you can move it down here to the victory point cache, where you might have other points from having killed different targets over the course of the game. You can also target other players. If you attack another player, then you can only use one card when attacking another player, so you can hit them for 1, 2, or 3, but they will have to lose that many cards from being attacked. If you kill another player, you will get a victory point. If you kill someone who has more victory points than you, you will get 2 victory points. And if you die on your own turn for whatever reason, well then you're going to lose a victory point. So try not to die on your own turn. A couple other things. There's a weapon slot here. Over the game you might find some things like here, a spear. Spear says when attacking an outer city target, add 1 to your dagger total. Or I can attack targets that are 1 away with the crossbow. Or I can have throwing knives. Whenever I kill a guard, I draw a card. Or a hidden dagger. I can attack a target even when there is a single nearby guard. Or the poison blade. When I'm making it a player versus player attack, I can add 1 to my target. There's other things too. There's a smoke bomb that you can discard when someone attacks you. Or you can play blind where the guards won't see your movement. Or concussion bomb where you can move the guards 1 space in either directions. Or blend, guards won't see you as you move this turn. So players are just basically trying to manipulate to go around. If you are killed, if you lose all the cards in your hand, you're not out of the game. You'll just start back in a corner on your turn with only 2 cards, and the person who killed you gets a point. The game will continue until all the event cards run out, and this pile is reduced for however many players are in the game. Or if one player gets 15 points, in which case that person is the winner of the game. There's also a version of you can play where there's some variants you can play. You can make it worth more to kill targets. You can have one person play the guards. If the assassin players died twice, the guard player wins, and so on and so forth. He can move guards around. The game itself, this is kind of an interesting thing. If you are a board gamer, a lot of board gamers I played this with were not impressed with it at all. I found it okay. I found it interesting, but I think this is a fantastic game in one sense. This is a board game that knows its audience. There's going to be a lot of video gamers out there who like Assassin's Creed, and they're going to come and try this game, and I think this game is going to do well for them. The components are good. I mean, yeah, it would have maybe been nice to have little miniatures for the different assassins, but that would have really increased the cost of the game. And I wouldn't have minded it had they used a little bit more artwork on the cards. The different daggers, I mean, it's very simple to see 1, 2, or 3 daggers, but the different daggers do different things. Like this is a dagger that's 2, but if you are PvP attacked and you discard this, you'll do 2 damage to your attacker. It's a counter attack. It's pretty cool. It would be kind of cool if that had been put in the artwork somewhere. And I wouldn't have minded if they had given the assassins different abilities. It gives a history of these different assassins, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce their names because I'll get regaled and yelled at by the people who play the video games. But I wouldn't have minded that. But as it is, it's quick and fun. See, what we're used to a game where you go in and you fight someone and they fight you back. That's not how this game works. You are an assassin who's going in and doing a quick stab. So you're like, oh, you just stabbed me for 3. What can I do? Well, you can stay away. And that's how the game works. You're kind of moving around, push your luck a little bit, try to grab this, kill these people, grab some gold, get back to your thing, try to get 15 points as fast as you can, but you want to keep a lot of cards in your hand at all times because you never know when other players are going to come after you, or maybe even an event card will cause the guards to come after you. This is not a great game by any means, but it's a solid, fun, fast game back and forth. There's a decent amount of luck with the event cards and things showing up and turning a token over, and I get a much better token perhaps than you did. But it plays fairly quickly. I think once this game gets going, I think it's a 30-minute game. It says 30 to 45 minutes. I think 30 minutes is much easier. You play, you quick go, and I think for fans of the video game genre, they're going to like this. It's a solid little game. I would say it's a good game. Not great, but good. And I had fun kind of this tiptoeing around, trying to avoid other people. And you can really go after someone else, and it hurts them, but it doesn't kill them. It does kill them, but they respawn, come back and play again. And so there's this incentive to go after other players, which I enjoy in the game. So Assassin's Creed Arena, the board game, I think it's exactly on target for what the audience that this game is trying to do. It's a good game. Gamers may be disappointed by the lack of strategy and tactics in here, but I think there is still a decent amount of tactics, and I think kids will also get a kick out of this.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!
Yeah?